Hello, everybody. Before I begin, I'd like to introduce myself. I'd like to bring our blessing person in, our very own Colorado King Lady Speech Sankofa. Please open the space for us.
Thank you so much, and I am so thankful and feel so blessed to be here. I acknowledge that we stand on stolen land built by stolen people. So we give thanks for the indigenous warriors who've always been fighting back since the day that they have been stolen, since the day the lands were stolen from them. Before it was a term activist, our ancestors fought back for our livelihood. They fought back for future generations. They fought back because it was their duty to Mother Earth. And we stand on their shoulders and we walk in their path. We ask them for their blessings and we acknowledge their pleasant presence. We are here because someone lived before. We are here because someone died before. We are here because there was victory before and there was defeat before. And we give thanks for every single aspect of those lives. We give thanks for the fight that brought us here. We give thanks for everyone who has lived and who has died before us. We ask that the portals are open. With our activism, we give an offering of our lives, of our times, of our blood, of our flesh back to the earth. We acknowledge that this situation that we are in is not the fault of indigenous people. We acknowledge that this is only the fault of colonialism. This is only the fault of white supremacy. And we come together to not only fight for Mother Earth, but we fight for the indigenous stewards of the earth who have been imprisoned, who have been wrongfully colonized, who have been killed, and their only crime is living. We give thanks and we understand that every breath and every step we take in activism is an offering to their lives, an offering to future generations, an offering to those who came before us, and an offering to those who come after us. We understand that this is holy work, that this is most sacred work, that this is payment for being here on this planet. It is payment for the privileges that we experience. It is payment for future generations. It is payment for the generation and the breath that we take right now. We give thanks. We acknowledge that the earth is a celebratory thing. She is a being, they are a being, he is a being that always celebrates. In the midst of destruction, there is celebration, for we understand that destruction seeds life. In the midst of life, there is celebration, for we understand that destruction will follow at some point. We give thanks and we celebrate the balance and the privilege that we have to participate. We acknowledge that we stand on stolen land. We acknowledge that we stand inside a community, inside of an economy that was built by stolen people. We give back to the land and we give back to the people. We ask for the blessings of our ancestors as we move forward. We ask that they cover us in goodness, that they cleanse our spirit, that they recharge us when this work gets thankless, when this work gets tiresome, when this work gets hopeless. We ask that they fortify our spirits and remind us that when they were hopeless, they kept going. And when we are hopeless, shall we keep going? We thank the earth for everything she does for us. We thank the earth for everything they will do for future generations. We give thanks and we celebrate our space here on this planet. We celebrate Mother Earth. We celebrate ourselves. We celebrate our connection. Ashe, Amen, Aho, Ayubobo, Omate.
Matli, thank you, brother, sister Sankofa. We appreciate you so much, King Lady Speech. And if this resonated hard for you or resonated in any type of way, feel free to hit up, feel free to show some financial reciprocity to our blessings person, King Lady Speech, at Lady Speech on Instagram. Yeah, Ameteo, thank you so much for being here today. And I just want to share that, like, when our person King Lady Speech just was talking about indigenous people, we're also recognizing the indigenous people come from all over every single side of Turtle Island, of this whole entire earth. Because even my white brothers and sisters are indigenous to their lands. Our brothers and sisters in Africa are indigenous to their lands. In Japan, in Indonesia, they're all indigenous to their own lands. And it's up to us to find that back for us and to reclaim it. And I'd like to share something so beautiful that my my beautiful Mujeres de Maíz, Renee and Micaela had helped me create, is this beautiful glow up for Earth Day fashion show that we put together, and in a way to bring out our inner light and bring that out and serve our community and share that beauty with you all. So if Amy, if you could please share that video with all these folks right here. Feel free to dance.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, don't say it 'cause I know I'm cute. Ooh, baby. Louis down to my drawers, LV all on my shoes. Ooh, baby. I be dripping so much sauce, got a bit looking like Grey Goose. Ooh, baby. Lit up like a crystal ball, that's cool, baby, so is you, that's how I roll. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. Yeah, I'm gold. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. Now you know. I like shot a nigga better over time. Now you know. Just say I'm not the baddest bitch you like. Ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. Ain't my fault that I'm out here making news. I'm the put it in the proof. Gotta blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Baby, no, I'm not a snack at all. Look, baby, I'm the whole damn meal. Baby, you ain't being slick. Don't dare try to cop a feel. The juice ain't worth the squeeze if the juice don't look like this. Hold up, nigga, please don't make me have to take your bitch. Shit. If I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I like shot a nigga better over time. Heard you say I'm not the baddest bitch you like. Ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. Ain't my fault that I'm out here making news. I'm the put it in the proof. Gotta blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Hey, somebody come get this man. I think he got lost in my DMs. What? My DMs. What? You better come get your man. I think he wanna be way more than friends. What? More than friends. What you want me to say? It ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose. Gotta blame it on my juice, baby. It ain't my fault that I'm out here making news. I'm the put it in the proof. Gotta blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it on my juice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Blame it on my juice. Blame it, yeah.
Yes! Yes, that was beautiful. Oh my gosh. Every single time I watch it, I'm just like infused with with like happiness and joy and energy and movement. Makes me want to get up and do another fashion show. I'm gonna pass this off to my homegirl Renee Miller Chacon to do a little this is basically gonna be like a panel discussion between us and the folks that participated in that glow up for Earth Day. And I'm gonna pass it off to Renee.
Hola, buenas tardes. My name is Renee Millar Chacon. I'm the youth program manager for Spirit of the Sun and a woman with an X and a Chicana, cultural educator from Women from the Mountain. We are so happy to be a part of this glow up challenge. And this glow up challenge came from something my grandma taught me. And it was, when you wake up in the morning, take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself in every way. Get that glass of water, get that coffee, get that food in you, get whatever you need first to make yourself feel good. But most of all, the Glow Up Challenge is a chance to bring social and emotional health into the social justice and environmental movement for 2020. We want to challenge the concepts of beauty, transform it to include all diverse narratives, still not included real equity in the American identity, and glow with our individual power during dark times of crisis. Now is the time to teach our future generations how to navigate injustice and adversity with grace and use their own inner beauty as medicine. We've offered that representation through this challenge, and we hope it ignites every individual that needs to experience this sacred value in their own beauty to truly walk in beauty in everything you do. Light your communities on fire with creative expression, transformation, and compassion for the next generations to come. We need to be better equipped for compassion, social and emotionally, to really address social and environmental justice. And that starts with knowing who you are and where your beauty comes from. So I got 4 questions for the panelists, and it's gonna get pretty fierce, because beauty is pretty and fierce. So that being said, I'm gonna throw this out to our 5 panelists in no particular order, because I don't believe we went by an order.
No, but do you guys have the capability of unmuting yourselves? Okay, sweet, perfect.
All right, are you ready for this? Where does your beauty come from? I'm gonna start picking people.
I guess I can start. I would say that, my beauty comes from just shining from within and letting it shine outwards, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you don't want it to come from like an egotistical place of like, oh, I look so good, like all the time. And at the same time, there's an element to beauty that is just so relevant, and everyone is so drawn to it. And so if you can continue to stay inspired within yourself and harbor it, people are just so inspired to do the same. And then when you're like all beautiful and fierce all together, it's so fabulous. So that's my quick answer.
Before we keep going, can I introduce our fashion folks for a moment? Sinke, if you'd like to say something real quick, just be like, hey.
Hey guys, he, him, his, Sinke Mason.
Zoe.
Hi guys, Zoe, she, her. So happy to be a part of this.
Mady.
Hey guys, Mady, she, her.
And Mariah. If she wants to. Okay, yeah.
Hi,
so, yeah,
sorry. Mute problems. Mariah, she, her, hers, and thanks for having me here.
Sweet. So to keep it moving at the momentum, since this challenge, now that you've questioned your identity in different cultural ways, most of all, since you've had time alone in quarantine to play in your fashion rooms, how do you know you can do it? How do you define your beauty now? How do you define it culturally? How do you define your indigeneity? How do you define your connection to the earth in your beauty? Now that you've had time to reflect, because you know what, most of all in crisis, it gives you time to reflect. And it also gives you ganas whether you're gonna go on or not, and knowing your beauty helps a lot with that. So panelists, how do you define your beauty now that we questioned you during this challenge? And now that you've done the challenge?
I'll go. Oh, just kidding.
You go. Okay, so defining my beauty, it's like just being who I am, like whether I am going out or if I'm staying in the house. Like if I want to feel good about myself, then I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to get cute throughout the day because that's what I want to do. And throughout the day, I like thinking about I will flex during the day. It's like easy to get down on yourself now, and it's just like, why do I need to be down? Like, I look good. I should feel good about myself, so I should be happy about it. And yeah.
That's good.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to go? I'm going to go on to the next question, which starts getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I can chime in on this one. To me, this quarantine has really had me redefine beauty and what that means to me. And I think before this, a lot of my beauty was related to going out and partaking in community and getting dressed up. And I think a lot of my beauty stems from being a creator and being an artist. And part of that is costume design. And now that that part of my life is totally lacking, it's made me kind of redefine that and find new ways that I feel beautiful. And it's made me feel really transparent and raw. And I, you know, beauty to me now is just being completely transparent and showing up as myself. And it's still costume design, but there's another aspect now.
That was well said. Beautiful. So now, other than looking at the physical appearance of yourself, this is when we really try to understand why our beauty is our power. That power and compassion for yourself to take the time that you need when you're not always going to feel as beautiful. How have you had to overcome insecurity and adversity during this time? Now, I can give you my own. I sage every day. It's just what I do first thing in the morning. I do it with my kids. Now they do it, head, heart, move on to whatever they're going to do. So how have you had to overcome adversity and insecurity and found a different, beautiful way to overcome? Panelists. Someone we haven't heard from.
For me, if I could be completely transparent and honest, I haven't completely overcome my insecurities, but I have definitely stepped into my power. I have stepped into my medicine. I have stepped into ways in which I never thought that I could actually be as a medicine warrior, as a mestiza, as a mom, as a medicine keeper, just all of those things. So I've really stepped into that, and I still can be insecure. I still can waver, but I think that's just part of, you know, of just not knowing what's out there, but knowing that no matter what, like, creators got me, my ancestors have got me, and so for me, it's making medicine and really understanding that I know how to encompass all of that magic and all of that ancestral wisdom. So honestly, that's how it's been for me.
For me, I have found a lot of power in telling people to shut the fuck up. And telling people and checking people when they are being fat phobic. This has brought out a lot of people's fat phobia, this quarantine. So I've been real quick about telling people that it has been brought out, and that for me personally, you know, too long into fat phobia can produce really fucked up results for me, and it can send me on a path that is really damaging. And so being vocal about that and letting people know that that's part of my needs, like watching how they talk about themselves is part of how, you know, I needed people to be aware of that in my community. And being hardcore about my self-care, thinking about it relentlessly and doing something every day to care for myself, and understanding that every day that I do that is a revolutionary act, and that is an important thing for warriors, that is an important thing for fighters, is to, you know, center your self-care. So being even more relentless with that now these days, when things are a little bit more trying. And also forgive the lighting situation. We're in a blackout over in my part of the neighborhood. So, yeah. And I'm Black, so it's just gonna increase it. I'm gonna disappear, y'all.
Never a dull moment. Beautifully said, and thank you. And that's what we're challenging, is our ideas of beauty. What does beauty really mean to be beautiful? And I so thank you for your powerful words. That being said, our last question to all the panelists. So I want you to think about this one. What is something beautiful you would like the next 7 generations to experience?
I'll answer this one. Just what I would really like to see for the next 7 generations is like everybody to have clean water and like grass to step on and stuff like that, because it's kind of disappearing a little quicker than I thought it would be disappearing. And I just like everybody to experience nature, just clean nature too.
Panelists, what is something beautiful you'd like the next 7 generations to experience?
I would definitely agree with you. Like blue skies, not gray when, you know, all of a sudden fracking increases and we see just the sky covered in weird gray clouds. And I want, you know, them to experience what it feels like to be in nature and to be able to experience and see what that looks like. I think it's really, really important. And I know for myself, it's kept me really sane in times when I can slip deep into, you know, darkness. And at the end of the day, when you just are able to even watch like a squirrel or a bird like flutter around, or even your cat, it's really, really fabulous. So just continuing to provide those spaces for people. And that's what I'm going to, you know, continue to fight for and protect.
For me, it's the fruition of all of our labor and everything that we have been fighting for, everything that we have took a stance on, everything that we know that is right. So all of our climate change aspects, and also like Speech was saying, a complete embodiment of who we are and the fact that our lives matter no matter what. Like, you know, just the in the fact that all of the things that we have done, all of the things that we have fought for, all of the things that our ancestors have fought for, that we finally in that 7 generations forward can see, can feel, can encompass and have available to them. So all of our natural resources, all of our beauty, all of our children's children, just all of the things that we've been fighting for that we know are right. So, and equality. So that's what I'd
like to answer this as well, real quick.
Go ahead,
This is like super simple, but I really want for these next 7 generations to be able to see Star Nation. And the reason why I say that is because like me and my sister, like as we're like growing up, and I mean all my family, my siblings, like when we go and visit like our hometown and in New Mexico, like we see the beauty of the cosmos, you know? And now I just have stark memories of them, and but they're always there, you know? And I want for all of those whatever beings that come from me, like to experience that same thing.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna end this one, and I'm gonna be a life giver mom about it. I want my children to experience toxic-free love in themselves first, their relation to Creator and the earth, in their relationships around them, friendships, loveships, lovers, whatever it be, and the environment itself, that love for it. Because why are we doing all these things if we can't harbor that heart, that giving of heart? So yeah, I really gonna be hoping for the next 7 generations. And most of all, remember, this type of beauty is a prayer too, and prayers can last years. It's not just that everyday stuff. So keep the prayer of that beauty in yourself every day. And remember, like my grandma would say, take care of yourself first. She was also of the generation that used to wear high heels when she vacuumed. So you can go where you want to. And then Mika says she wears one high heel on one shoe and moccasin on the other. But you could also just be comfortable and being very naturally beautiful as you were meant to be here in this time. So I thank you for doing our Glow Up Challenge. I hope this ignites you. I hope we could do more of this. I hope it can expand narratives and the diversity that needs to be included and that deserves to be included in what is really beautiful. So thank you for including me in this, and yeah, I'm so grateful we all did this together. So thank you, Esperanza. Thank you, Micaela. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, all the organizations, and thank you, panelists and those that participate.
Thank you for organizing, and thank you for having us on.
Of course.
Thank you for all your hard work. This was not easy work, I could tell at all for anyone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your light.
Thank you. We're not done just yet. I just want to let you guys know that the video that we have, that glow up for Earth Day video, is available on 350 Colorado's Facebook page and the Colorado Climate Strike page. Glow Up for Earth Day is located there if you want to keep rewatching it. And so for our next performer person, we have Tara, a young poet.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Hi there.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And I actually have a poem called Our Appetite, and it's just something I've been working on about kind of my thoughts on the world right now, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, we consume every day, 7 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 12 months a year. We eat and we eat until our stomachs grow with the guilt of our wasted money, of our wasted time. 5 p.m. turns into 10 p.m. as you try to fix the world to do something it wasn't meant to in the first place. See, because money is a drug and we are all its addicts. It lays waste to the path we have chosen to follow. It sets fire to the delicate flower we call happiness. As life goes on, we eat more and more until we cannot move. We see green paper, liquid flowing in our veins, and we see shiny pieces of silver in between our teeth. Our breath mints taste like iron, and our coffee tastes like cardboard, yet we still consume. We don't stop eating the sausage after we see how it's made. In fact, we drool grotesquely over it even more, and all throughout the insatiable need for this food, we wonder, how can one live this way? The thing is, no one can. No one can, but we choose to. And life goes on this way because we have eaten too much and we can no longer move. We can, but we choose not to. Are we blind? Are we so blind to see how our mother hurts with our scythes of smoke and our knives of plastic? No, we are not blind. We are simply choosing not to see. We choose not to see, not to hear, not to feel or say. However, we still eat. We still eat until we cannot move. A fisherman in Thailand covers his face after a hard day's work of lost opportunities. The fish have gone, sir. They have gone into the mouths of the privileged, into the depths of greed's ocean. A young woman in Bangladesh prays that today she will be able to fetch fresh water from the Ganges River for her newborn child. The clean water has flown upstream, ma'am. It has been used for clothes, and the runoff is all you have now. And life goes on this way because we have eaten too much and we can no longer move. We can, but we choose not to. And those who speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves find themselves villainized by a materialistic society when the real villains sit in an office, making calls about how much the prices went up. The monsters who control our resources like ants on a farm. And suddenly, everything is quiet. The world rests like the silent Buddha, not to be disturbed, as it lasts through unmatched terror and frustration by us humans who have sunglasses of rose and minds of clouds. And life goes on this way because we've eaten too much and we can no longer move. We can, but we choose not to. We can, but we choose not to. We can, but we choose not to. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara, so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And for our next person, I am so proud to present one of my really good friends and nature lovers, Marlo Baines.
Thank you, Esperanza. That was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So this poem comes from my self-published book, Little Black Book, A Young Activist's Love Story, and I feel incredibly blessed to share you this poem from it. It is the conclusion piece to my book, and I feel like it encompasses a lot of the feelings that, you know, youth activists come up against and what we are working on to create the world that we want to see. And so without further ado, the final exposition. They say the US gotta stop complaining, we have it worse. Hits it in the gut and I can't stop thinking about those words. Yes, we have it better, white skin and our money more like it. They paint lines in the sand and put perfect on every doorway. He says, y'all keep dividing yourselves, LGBTQ+, BLM, environmental, and y'all make it about something called microaggressions. But I can't help notice that these walls were created for unjust reasons. I see their country with staring back. I see poverty walking my home streets. These things are the problem of name calling. We're dealing with root causes never make sense, but poetry has to say something because I've seen things and a white girl explaining might be angering, but I'm gonna have a go at a big issue so large enough we are all a part of completing it. You see, these problems start in conversations turned into debates that spell competition, filling up answer bubbles that the rich excel in. Man, you see that we make these groups because our politicians like meddling in other countries, due to them not wanting to agree that home sometimes looks like developing countries. Bro, we are so angry at the kids who proudly state KKK their patriarchy, and they judge all who look, talk, or do something different than them, call them weird, retarded, and foreign, at their backs like daggers. Then boys grow into age, but not by brains, and sit in seats of power way too high for them to see, because they were born into them. In families coming from the blood-washed, God bless America, built on the backs of slaves and mass genocide, families stay in power by blood, not by competition, not by compassion. About the boys' club, which use rape culture, ignorance, and shaming their code words. They laugh and high-five in meetings. Goddamn, we're angry. About the adults that spill oil in oceans, that kill children by lead-filled pipes with air that tastes like chemicals, which hurts our heads and turns into cancer in a girl who didn't deserve it, who fought for no child to ever see their body disappear. She didn't deserve it, and they call the business of poison profit. Fuck it. For my love, who almost shares the same privileges as me, but because language number one is Spanish and holds a passport that proudly states it, is stopped by TSA every single time that he leaves to be in his grandmother's embrace and gets all quiet. Thank you, Bush. For going to war on Iraq to kill the terrorist, only it wasn't the real reason, because doesn't oil taste sweeter in the Middle East? Old man, how do bombs feel in your family's only home? This is my country, the land of the by something called borders and reservations that are actually just barren food deserts. To adopt and save the human, kill the foreign. Great white people, you don't come from here. Great uncle, no, your country is a horror to people who don't look like you, talk like you, hold education in the palm of your hand as if it's some sort of accessory. Yes, abortion is legal in Colorado. How did you know? Is a woman ashamed for her decision? No, she won't take it back. No, she won't be embarrassed. No, she doesn't share her story, because if her cousins found out, they would look at her like she was an alien and curse her in the name of God. God loves everyone, even the Jews, Muslims, atheists, and indigenous people, because we are all one. So yes, our country may look different in numbers, names, and social statistics, but I see my country and cry for the pain never seen by the economist, politician, president, and billionaires. Yes, people are angry, and they're turning words into action that turn into inspiration, handed as flowers to the girl on the back of an underpaid teacher's classroom with her hoodie up and her headphones in. Systems are failing, and it's time for a renovation. Stop being afraid of death, because birth is part of a millennial-old system, and I'm awakened by the sky turned dark, born into light that showers the earth in gold, in a sigh of relief, because emotions are a cycle causing all of us to be human, and nature is loving. So yes, we are waking in masses of poppy fields that wink black eyes of beauty, interconnected like stars sprinkled in galaxies far on another island. We are different, yet similarly perfect in imperfect cohesion. My country hurts because maybe it has a disease it doesn't want to treat, but we, the people, can knit it back together and acknowledge the trauma, and we can be the blood, nerves, and brain to put this back together, and our people imagine the country. Isn't that lovely? The idea of a competition, deconstructed into ideas that make in minds that can change, and called for facilitated collaboration. Guardians turn into keepers of people who coincide in nature. Paper, trees, oh, what are we to make it? I like the boxes we live in, yet pages are different sizes of the same material, which lives within our minds, so can I read yours? Cry, break free, and carve names into questions of what, how, and make sure to emphasize the why. And one day he'll ask me what I think about politics in my country, and I'll say, our borders are under reconstruction because we've only imagined them, so we can change them, all things being equal, something so revolutionary that they call it the evolution of consciousness. Isn't that lovely? And the whole time we realized people were in power and that human means keeping our little piece of space clean and healthy. And we've done it. Every night I'll go to sleep mystified by the sacred soul that holds our being and that the youth did it. Adults helped them and nature bound and leaped with them. I will weep in this man's presence as I greet him as another human being. We will come to terms. Human worries are constructed beliefs made by emotions brought by the wrongdoing of people. I'm back in the current moment, and he says, your country is perfect. And I smile because I know it isn't. So I respond, we are human. Therefore, what is a country? And I get back to work smiling because we're creating change globally. Thank you.
Wow. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Those beautiful words that you shared. Up next, we have Elijah, a candidate for chair of the Colorado High School Dems, a youth activist, and an actor.
Hi, thank you all so much. First, I'd like to thank all the organizers for doing this. This is honestly incredible and amazing. I'd also like to just say how much I love the energy of everyone here. It's honestly amazing. It's so loving and all that. Up until recently, Indigenous people have always been treated as victims of the climate movement. More recently, with, say, Native Americans in the North Americas, the Sioux Natives with the Dakota Access Pipeline, they've really been standing up for themselves and defending the lands. This has always been happening, but up until more recently, colonialism hasn't allowed it to be broadcasted. In Bangladesh, we have villagers who are creating floating vegetable gardens to protect their livelihoods from flooding. While in Vietnam, communities are helping to plant dense mangroves along the coast to diffuse tropical storm waves. Indigenous peoples in the Central South American regions are shifting their agricultural activities and those settlements to new locations, which are less susceptible to adverse climate conditions. This is all so sad, considering that we never, natives didn't have to deal with this, indigenous peoples didn't have to deal with this hundreds of years ago. It wasn't until colonialism really took over everything that we all got pushed back. It's really sad when you see different groups who are trying to protect and defend the lands, but they can't because of some horrendous regulations or laws and legislature. And that's why we, as Indigenous people and allies who are white and all sorts of colors, need to band together in order to defend our lands and in order to defend our climate. And it's not going to work just if we protest. We need to make sure we're getting elected as officials. We need to make sure that all voices are represented on all levels. And that's why we, as Indigenous people, should be running for every single official, elected official position that we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elijah. Next, we got Jacob Tanozi from Mountain Vista High School.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cool. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's on here. And I really think that it's important that we all do this because obviously this is an existential crisis that we need to combat. And I think we also need to realize that we all share this beautiful earth together and that it's up to us to, keep it alive for the next generation. So my piece is just short and sweet. It's called A Murder Masked is Beautiful. So we tell Mother Earth that she is beautiful. When we close our eyes, we envision her cascading waterfalls and towering mountaintops that loom over a royal sunset. We envision her endless beaches plastered into the depths of our memories, the tide dancing at our feet, echoing our names to adventure beyond the undertow. But it's a different story when we open our eyes again, because Earth just isn't beautiful anymore. And how can she be when we're slowly obliterating her beauty into dust? How can humanity continue to close its eyes and smile as we stab the Earth's heart out again and again and again? How can we call our murder victim beautiful when the rich and the powerful hide her broken limbs in their pockets and call it wealth? How are we unable to diagnose her as deathly ill when desertification morphs once prosperous patches of land into bitter pieces of dirt? How can we overlook her utter sadness when she cries out hurricanes and unleashes wraths of inferno down upon us? How can we ignorantly continue to allow corporations to delve scars into her back and devour her bones like vultures? Out of comfort? Out of maniacal fear of changing our ways of living? But Earth is on her knees. She's begging for mercy, pleading us to stop corroding her body and her sanity, and yet we turn away, puncturing our eyes out with dollar bills and denial and selfishness, so we cannot see when our plastic scalpels peel her skin away and our chemicals turn her blood into acid. Why? Why do we do this? All for what? Because whatever the reason is, it doesn't excuse destroying the very thing that gives us life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacob. That's awesome. Before I go on to our next speaker, I'd also like to highlight the fact that every single day is Earth Day when you're here on Earth. Every single day is Earth Day. It's not just today, it's not just this week, it's not just this month, it's every single day you're on this Earth, on this Turtle Island, on this planet. So celebrate that, celebrate this life. With that said, I'd like to pass the mic on to Mandira Gauda, if they are on. Are they on, Amy? Maybe not.
Not sure.
Okay. Mandira, if you're on, please say something. Thank you guys. Okay, we're not done yet. Sorry. And to close out this beautiful session, this beautiful gathering that we have here, I'd like to once again bring out King Lady Speech to close us out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have to always remember that we are the incarnate of Mother Earth. We are her children. We come from her. We are made from her. We are her power. So we are never powerless in these times of need. She pulls from every single part of herself, depending on what adverse situation she is facing. So we must remember to do the same, to pull from all parts of ourselves, depending on what the situation calls from us. We must remember our connection to each other. And we do not fight out of hate because that is unsustainable. We fight out of love because that is very sustainable. When we fight for love of this land, when we fight for love of our ancestors, when we fight out of love for future generations, when we fight for love and in love for our brothers and sisters, that is something that will always replenish us, has the ability to replenish us, and will replenish us until we die. We can never forget this. We can never forget how powerful we are when we are united. We die as individuals, we thrive as village. Together, we can make things happen. Together, we can heal ourselves and each other. Together, we can steward a new day, and it is up to us to write that story. We must take a page from our mother. When change needs to happen, she forces the issue until it happens. Change needs to happen. Let us find the power in our loins. Let us find the power in our ancestors. Let us find the power in our love. Let us find the power in our bones to push forward and to make change so that we all can live. Ashe. Amen. Aho. Mateo. Ayubo.
Yes. Thank you so much, King Lady Speech. We appreciate your medicine and the words you share with us. If you want to show some financial reciprocity to King Lady Speech, you can find them at Lady Speech on Instagram. Thank you guys all for coming and for joining us on this digital Earth Day strike in Colorado. Thank you so much. Remind yourselves of who you are and the fact that you are the minerals and stones and fluids of this earth every single day. Thank you for waking up this morning. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for being here. We're going to close out soon.
Thank you, Esperanza.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to the Alliance Center. The Alliance Center has hooked us up with getting this out here and promoting it. And thank you to Jiva, Liliana, Renee, Amy, Julia, and everybody that missed for putting this together. It's been like 3 weeks of like staying up late at night to do this. So thank you.
Thank you.
For folks who want to join the next 3 days, do you want to talk at all about what's happening the rest of the week, Esperanza?
Yes. Totally forgot. Apologies. Yes, Friday is voting day, and we're gonna have a political panel discussion with some young folks as well as like political people who are in office at the moment, as well as a really dope mural by an artist named Diego Flores. Go check them out and come back on here onto earthdaylive2020.org and find us for Friday.
And then join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for the kickoff of Stop the Money Pipeline Day in Colorado. We'll be live streaming at 10 and 5 tomorrow to stop the funders of the climate disaster. So we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity. It was beautiful. And